everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. Excited to be with you as always on this weekend. We're just gonna chill out, just have some time to just chat about whatever on your mind. Of course, I will answer some of your questions. As you all know, we won't talk geopolitics today, even though there is a lot going on. So, anyway, I hope your weekend is going great and you are literally just chilling out, relaxing. I appreciate you being here. I know for me too, I was kind of like was debating. Well, it's the commitment to the community. So yes, I can sort of do an hour or two, whatever that is, with my community here. Then my weekend goes about whatever I need to do. So anyway, very excited to see you all. Let me see who is here. You too, super, Doctor Ho. How you got the medals on your walls? Given a short story, short explanation. Well, yeah, it's very short. Those are uh, my service in the military. I didn't go through the regular channels. I received a phone call from the Pentagon. That's how it works. So it was way back, and given my background and all that stuff. So, to make story short, those where are they? Yeah, the one on the left, that's a gold medal. Okay, the one on the right, that's a silver medal. Those were for the World Wild Olympics. Yes, we used to have what we called Worldwide Olympics in linguistics. So that's what I participated there, and I represented along with my colleagues at that time. We represented the post. I was stationed at Fort Hood, so we represented the whole Third Corps at that time, and we won the gold. So I got the gold there on the left, the one on the right. The middle ones, the top two, are my insignia for the military intelligence. Those are you can't get anywhere unless you are inside. It's not something you buy or you go to the PX and buy that stuff. And the ones in the bottom, also it's the two other insignias for the MI unit, because the one I was in was the backbone of the U.S. military intelligence. So that's the one I was in. So. And the two others, I think, two or three, whatever that is. One of them was a coin from the general, from at that time was a colonel who became a four-star general, three-star general, I think. He became the vice chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. You can look him up, General Peter Corelli. You know, so I think I got a coin from him, and the last one, that's the signal for the first calf. It has a horse and a stray. That's first calf. That's the unit I belong to. It's well known here in the military, so that's what it was. All right, let me see. Jasmine, it's here. Muslim Revert. Good to see you. Willie Holman, as always. Farhad Razavi, good to see you as always. Jan Hokor, good to see you. Matt Backy, good to see you. I did get your video messaging regarding the books. So what I'm going to do later on, because if I go over there, you guys won't be able to see much. This is just a small segment of my books still in. I used to have a whole life when I was teaching, brought all my books, of course. But I will do a quick sort of video messaging with some type of books that I have. And because if I go all the way down there, you guys won't be able to hear. Then I'll explain a few things. Like, for example, the red one on the left. That one is a French dictionary. That's the major. I had to buy because you deal with languages, so you have to. Next to it is the Arabic major dictionary. It's called Al Mawrid, to those who are familiar with the Arabic language. And the third one, that's a law, English, from English to Arabic, legal terminologies and all that stuff. And the blue one is the major thesaurus that I used to use for my own. Then the rest is some Arabic books about politics in the Middle East, because I was specialized in the Middle East. Then some others. One I can share with you. Let me go get it. All right, let me see. Now, this book, I don't think so you can find it anymore. They don't publish this. It's called Forbidden Truth. Yeah. So this is U.S. Taliban secret oil diplomacy and the failed hunt for UBL. So this was written by a French author, Guillaume, I believe. Yeah, Guillaume Daciquier and Jean-Charles Brissard. So yeah, just some there. So I'll do video messaging for you, Matt, and I'll share a few things. I did see the one you sent me on Twitter or X, and I looked at the type of books you have there. Very, very interesting and impressive library you have there. So, and yes, of course, I will be happy one day if our paths cross. I'll be happy to sign my own books for you. I'll be happy to do it for you guys. As a matter of fact, FYI, just to let you know, I've been talking to Buy Me Coffee, the company, right? Because what I'm thinking about is I wanted to have my books on their platform, and if you guys can buy them from there. The reason why I want to do it because as of now, I don't want you to buy those books outside because, for example, the Russia book, that one is about $130. But again, it's the publisher that decides on that, not me. If I put them on Buy Me Coffee and I got to figure out the logistics of it, I'm going to just put about $20 for it, or even 50, whatever, something like that. But I don't believe in, putting that much money. It's just for me to cover the cost because I have to pay the percentage for the Buy Me Coffee. But anyway, I am working on it. I'll do all my books there. You guys can get that. My articles, you can have access to that stuff and all that. So this is what we're going to be doing about that one. All right, let me see who else here. Let me see who is here first. Then I'll go back to all of you guys. Ayal, good to see you. Hagwang, as always. Karakulak, salam from Turkey. Good to see you. Army with Harmony, good to see you. And thank you so much for buying me coffee. Truly appreciate it. I did not forget about you. Okay, because you did ask me last time. Sometimes I might get to it later on. You did ask me for some links regarding Shaolin, right? So I'm gonna send you I'm gonna just post it here for all of you guys if you want it. An Army with Harmony. You can take a look at that later on if you are interested into this. Now, there is an U.S. Shaolin Academy right here in the United States if you are interested in this. So just read up on it first, familiarize yourself with the concept of it. It's not something for us, as you know, you Westerner like me here. For us, the West, we don't understand the Eastern culture deeply enough to know how it moved throughout the centuries and so forth, and the reflection of this kind of schools or what you call them, traditions, if I may use the term, because to them this is not about just martial art; it is about way of life, and that's what the Shaolin is all about. So, Francis Tango, good to see you. Marcolino from guess where? From Brazil. Good to see you. I've never been in Brazil. So I hope one day, to make it there. Alci Talokin, Polyglot Mero, sort of, yeah, just to. Usually, I don't usually talk much about my, certain level of private life and so forth. But for example, in the linguistics aspects, if you sit with my entire family, you'll be hearing about 6 languages. This is why I beat myself for not learning Chinese back in the 90s, because that's when I start thinking about learning Chinese. And the reason being because of what I saw coming. And when the Pentagon called me and they said, because they knew I was sort of fluent in Arabic, and when I took the test, I scored high enough, whatever. I didn't even go to the training because that's how much I saved them in money. Because to go into that for linguistic school here in the US takes 2 years. So, but I should have stick to my gun by saying to them, no, if you want me to go, I need to go to Chinese school to learn a Chinese language. I don't blame them. It's my decision. It's never too late. That's what learning is all about. It just, for me, for now, I gotta be realistic about the how quickly I will acquire the language. Is I have to live in China, and you live in China not for 3 months, not for you live in China for years to acquire it. And even with that, even with all that, I might not master the language because it's an old civilization. There's a lot to learn about it, but just that's how it is. That's how it is. So, all right. Hong Luang, Dr. O, since you mentioned the Olympics, 2024 Olympics in France, transgender in the Olympics, will they be accepted? Yeah, it's pathetic where this thing is going. I mean, I look at it here in my country. Of course, I'm not judging this, they can do whatever they want as long as you don't get close to me. I'll share story with you one day. I'll share story with you what happened to me one day, way back in time. You know, I was in Canada, I remember, and it was what do you call it? The parade. It was some national day in Canada, whatever. Because I lived in Canada for a short period, and I remember at that time I met a guy who used to be the faculty instructor for the government of sort, whatever. So, and we were just standing there watching. To me, I had coffee, and we were just chatting, and I knew the guy was like sort of a gay of sort or whatever, which didn't bother me. That's his life, I ain't mine. But I kind of like, yeah, whatever. So we were standing there, and all of a sudden he put his arm around my shoulder. The next thing, he found himself on a windshield of a vehicle with my face this close to his face. It's because to me it was like an insult to me. Now, I told you, if you are a gay, that's your life. But don't misinterpret just me standing by your side, maybe having a conversation, you misinterpret. And he said to me, oh, he said in French, he said, oh, vous êtes très violent. You are violent. I said, no, I'm not violent. It's because you didn't respect what I said to you when I said, I'm not a gay, so you kind of don't cross the line. So, and that's what I say. So to tie it back to this transgender stuff, to me, that's when the society starts going into that direction, which we already are. My society here, it's where things are going. I see what's going on in schools. I see what they're teaching the kids in American school right now. Even in Canada now, they're teaching. I remember seeing a video of this teacher explaining to the kids. These are like 7 or 8 years old. Well, mommy and daddy, they were two homosexual people married, whatever. And yes, the teacher is explaining to those kids that way, which to me was like, what the heck is going on with the West? And this is not just Canada or US, across the West, which is sad, To me, again, and I don't judge, but to me, there are certain roles of a man is a man, a woman is a woman within society. You don't, even here in the US, just to give you an idea, guys, some, even females, thinking of themselves as this highty mighty. You know how it is the traditional way. You and I would know. If a lady comes first, you open the door for a lady, right? That's the right thing to do out of respect for a woman. Nowadays, if you open a door for some women, they'll get upset. Oh, I can do it myself. Yeah, of course, my dear, you can do it yourself. But that's just so pathetic. You couldn't even appreciate such a gesture that a man opening a door for women. So, yeah, call me traditional, call me whatever. But to me, that's how I believe, because that's how I was raised. So it's the idea. So I see your point. And for France, and I have family in France, and I talk to them, and it's kind of like, yeah, where that country is going, but it also is a reflection of the collective West. Same thing in Germany. Same thing now. You look at Scandinavians or certain other parts in Europe. So they all of them go in that direction. So, Jimmy C, I am in Dallas. Yeah, Big D, the city of Big. And here is my man, Boone. I did send you a voice message, Boone. Boone I consider Boone a friend. This is guys, most of you, now we spend time together here for a while. To me, it becomes like a family. That's how I look at it. Without naming names, I just had to reach out to someone I haven't seen for a long, long, long time, to the point that it's been on my mind. And I just said, well, it's been on my mind. So what am I going to do about it? I went ahead and sent an email. Say, hey, I'm just checking on you, saying hi, and hope everything is okay. I know there were some issues there, whatever. Just want to follow up. Why? Because you think of the person, he was there for me when I was starting. So circumstances changes, and this is how I feel about the community here, guys. So this is, to me, why it becomes very important. It's because the changes, whatever changes might be, you can't do them alone. Strength is in unity. You all know this, guys. It's nothing new. So Boone, good to see you. And you wrote greeting to all. I'm wondering if we would like Dr. O to go to a deep dive into how China deals with getting the right people for the right jobs. You mean right now? I can't do it because I have to do the research for it. But I can tell you one thing, guys, based on what I know as one who's in the process writing a book about China, to understand the dynamic, is there is no nepotism. There is no, you hold the position because you served long enough. That's nonsense. Look what it's getting us into in this country. Why? Because, I spent 24 years in politics. I spent 30 years in politics, so I know what I'm doing. No. It's qualifications. So I see your point, Boone, and I'll be happy if you guys wanted to do it next time, because I have to prepare for it. I can't just talk on the top of my head. And you all know I don't do that kind of stuff. So thank you so much, Boone, and good to see you as always. Army with Harmony. Question: what were your favorite subjects in college? International relations, international studies, political science, anything pertaining to global affairs, whatever. I was always interested in. So that's. I did study earth science and I liked it, but it was challenging. So I'll admit it. So that was my favorite topics, international relations, because I always was fascinated. I still have some journals that I used to write. It's in my safe because I keep certain things out. When I was literally about 15, 16, I used to keep up with what's going on. So that's what I used to do. KL from Singapore, good to see you as always. MMM from Sri Lanka, Nassar, good to see you. Okay, let me see another question from you guys. Army with Harmony. You wrote, I love Shaolin. Thank you very much. You're most welcome. One thing I can advise you on is you need, first of all, to learn what is a Shaolin is all about. This is one thing about the Chinese culture. You all heard about that wisdom part, whatever. That's a reflection of how society has moved on over thousands of years from one generation to the next. This is why now I believe China is about to ensure that the young generation, have that kind of patriotic duties and don't get sucked into the materialistic world. Because what comes with the materialistic world? Comfort. What comes with comfort? Laziness. This is what we are seeing in our society here. And if you are an American, you know what I'm talking about. The conveniences. So to me, that's part of how it works for once you learn, first of all, the basics of what Shaolin is, because it's a school of thoughts. It's a discipline, and discipline that has nothing to do just with the physical. It has to do with discipline in the soul as well. Because you become like the way I feel about it, because I've been involved and I'm not consider myself very immersed into it. There is a lot to learn, but I did come to the conclusion that you merge with yourself, you merge with your soul, you become as one entity, cohesive entity. And this is where that idea of mind and body comes together. Okay, in addition to nutrition, good habits, and so forth. So my advice to you is take a look, first of all, to what Shaolin is, the thoughts, and I will pave the way for you to learn more. Francis Tango. Dr. O, if you're going to teach in which university, can you tell me which Asia country do you prefer? Well, first of all, it's where the language will be. Of course, I can't teach in other language besides English. Yes, I can do certain presentations in French and Arabic, whatever, but teaching, because I always perceive teaching, I believe it or not, I do it with you guys. This might not come clear to you, whatever, I do it with you. Even though I don't consider you students and I'm teaching. No, 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 no. It's the setting of it, the responsibility of ensuring the accuracy of the information to ensure that you understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I have to go over it again to make sure. Why? Because you are giving me your time. So, and that's why I prefer to teach in English if it is. Which countries will be? I'll consider China. I would like to teach in China if it's possible. Indonesia, that's a possibility. Singapore, so. Philippines is out of question for me. That's about it. Malaysia, I don't know much about Malaysia except beside the large Muslim population, which I can communicate with them, knowing what I know about the Arabic culture and so forth. But that's one. The reason for me for what will be China is because of where I see the trends going globally, and that will so. But it has to be English. That's the only way. And also, there is another reason to that. I believe is the Chinese students are very disciplined because it's a reflection of the culture. So there is a respect for the authority. You know, something we don't have here in classrooms. And I used to teach, and of course, I would not tolerate that nonsense. I had one day students when I was teaching at Texas A&M. I'll share the story with you. And all of a sudden, he walks in with the sandwich in his hand, a muscle shirt, and just walking after I start class, which usually I used to tell my students, I have 5-minute window. If you pass 5 minutes, do not come into my class because I will kick you out and I will embarrass you. Why? All it was because I wanted to teach them to be on time. So, and here is this guy showing up after 5 minutes, let alone with the sandwich in his hand and a muscle. And I said, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm coming to class. I said, do me a favor. Before you sit, turn around and leave. And I was with a stern voice. And the reason why, because if I would have let it go, it'll set the standard. So to me was the idea that, so where is the respect for the classroom to begin with? Because I am not here to socialize with you in a classroom. The classroom is not a cafeteria. And if you want to eat or you are hungry, manage your time. Get up early, go do whatever you need to do, eat, then come to classroom. And second, you come into classroom, dress appropriately at least. And he was shocked. Why he was shocked? Because he was in the college, he got a football scholarship. He was one of those big football players. I don't give a damn whether you're a football player or not. You're no different than any other students in my classroom. And I think he was shocked. I was like, step out. Get out of my class. So I got a phone call from his coach later on. Dr. O, what happened? And I said, well, I ain't going to tolerate, just somebody showing up with food in my classroom and dress whatever, like a homie here and coming in. This is a classroom. It's a reflection of a learning center. And he said, you know what, Dr. O? I appreciate you for doing that. Just because the guy got a scholarship, he ain't allowed to do whatever. And from that time forward, he was on time and no hard feeling. So, and that was the idea. So to me, this strikes me that the success of academia in China, because now I've been following and I have a good friend. I'm going to invite him over here, guys, because you want to hear from him. And he's a PhD in physics. Very, very smart guy. He's from Macau, but he was born in, I think he was born in Macau or in Singapore, one or the other. But he's, and he always used to tell me about how the discipline when it comes down to the Chinese student. And the universities now in China are moving up the ladder, really competing with the top universities here in the West. Because we all used to hear about the London School of Economics, what's the other one? Cambridge, Harvard, and all that. But there is a dark side to those institutions. If you only know what's going on behind the scenes. Look right now what's going on in the US with these demonstrations of the students, because they exposed the link between universities and lobbyists behind the scenes. China doesn't have this kind of stuff. So the students, when they get in class, they are disciplined. They are there to learn, because the instructor, professor, teacher, whatever you want to call him or her, are given the authority to ensure discipline in a classroom. And to me, when you have a setting like this, you thrive. This is exactly what we have in this community here. Why do you think I show up here every other day? It's because the environment is conducive for it. And that is the reason why. So that will be one of the ones I will go into. So, all right, let me see. I'm sorry, I can't read. Is the Russian, whatever that is? So, yeah, I can't read it. Anybody reads Russian? You can translate. So, okay, let me see another question from you guys. And Boone, you wrote, Doctor, you should be careful going to India. A grown man hold hands to cross the streets. And my colleagues, I know, I have no intent. I don't. Nothing will take me to India right now. I don't foresee that in any time soon. So, because I have other locations in mind that I need to visit first and just go from there. So, all right, let me share with you some tips about. I know some of you guys been asking Muslim Revert, what happened to your China trip? It's still on. I ran to a hiccup with the visa. It's just a process. But of course, we're coming into the summer. I don't intend to travel to Asia around June, July, because it's not a good time for me to travel to Asia. So I'm going to push the Asia trip till about probably past August. So, but the trip is still on. It will, once I secure the visa and all that stuff, and the timing of it. There's other moving parts that I have. It's already been in plan from way back. I have to coordinate all this. But just the short answer is it's still on, and I am planning on doing that. So. Question, Francis Tango. You put, if you want to teach university in Indonesia, my sister-in-law can help you with that. She's also Dr. in Jami. Yeah, I'll be happy to consider that. Why not? I'm to me, I'm seeing the trend where the world is headed, and where it's headed is going to be driven by the East. So if I can contribute my knowledge to the students to understand the better, yeah, why not? I'll consider that one. So I'll be happy to do that. So as long as it's in English. So and it has to do within my field. So Boone, thank you again, man. Appreciate it. You, Ross and Elizabeth were there for me during the dark time when I got really down during the Uyghur propaganda. Yeah. Well, we can't forget. You can't forget the people that have been with you since the beginning. Same for us. And believe me or not, just yesterday, I mentioned you in a conversation. And I said, yeah, I did send Boone video messages, because I said, how can we forget? All the way from the beginning. So, and yes, I do remember about the Uyghur stuff. It's that's why I lost faith in credibility in what mainstream media here does. So we greatly appreciate you, and I keep my word to you that the day I will be passing through your location, if it will be close by, I'll give you a heads up, and I would love to just link up with you, even for a cup of coffee, before I'll take my flight and head back home. So I promise you I will do that when I get a chance to do so. All right, I want to talk to you briefly, guys, about the Health Channel. Some of you have been asking. Yes, the Health Channel is still there, except now I get the green light to move forward in a different direction with it. You all remember before I used to talk to you about certain type of food, fruits, and so forth. Now I'm going to be moving that channel in a different direction that deals with chronic diseases. We're talking about the likes of Alzheimer's. We're talking about the likes of Parkinson's. We're talking about anxiety. We're talking about depression and all that. Because what you guys do not know or did not know before, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, maybe I mentioned it one day, is that Dr. Stewart, that's his background professionally. Dr. Stewart's understand Alzheimer's, Dr. Stewart's understand Parkinson's, depression, anxiety, and so forth. And there are programs out there how to manage that one. Because there is one thing I want you to know. Certain type of chronic diseases that we have here in the US, which, by the way, it's created, is for the pharmaceutical to sell the medication. Cause and effect. I'll give you a quick example. You go sometimes in your neighborhood, which I see it right here, and you see sometimes the green grass, very green, meticulous, and you say, wow. But did you know that inside that there are chemicals because of what's been spread on that grass? That chemical happened to have a link to, for example, Alzheimer's, a link to Parkinson's, a link to other diseases. And this is why I have to understand the link between, in addition to what we consume, what people eat, have no idea what they eat. Be careful. Be careful. My advice to you, eat well. You don't have to eat and buy these expensive steaks and all that. No. You don't need all that. Just eat right. Especially when it comes down to two main culprits. Sugar. What is the second one? Can you guys tell me what's the second item that can cause major problems? So I said one. Sugar. What's the second one? Let me see here. I'm scrolling down to see, guys. Salt. To a degree, but salt, you have to be careful. Don't ever use the commercial salt. The commercial salt, that's what you see, for example, very white because it's bleached, and a very, 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 very thin. In other words, it's grinded very softly. That's bad for you. The moment you start taking that, your sodium goes up. Use Himalayan salt, traditional ones. Your body does not need too much salt, but your body needs a little bit of salt. So you have to find that balance. A Muslim revert, you got it, carbohydrates. Stay away from bread, stay away from pasta, anything carbohydrates. That's part of where the problem is. A lot of people do not understand, especially I speak here about the here in the US. Do you guys know that the EU will not import certain things from the US? It's because of the amount of chemicals. Even the meat, do I go and buy meat from whatever? No. But I do go and buy a grass-fed meat that is pricey. But again, your health is worth more. And that's what I'm saying. So I decided after a conversation with Dr. Stewart and so forth, it's like, well, you know what? I mean, I can talk about those items on the health channel, but I'd rather go this direction here. It's because we're seeing more and more chronic diseases, the likes. And I am sure, and what you guys do not know is that Dr. Stewart, he's helping people from around the world through his own program, whatever he does. That's why he can make it here right now. He's too busy. And I kind of be respectful. It was kind of him to come over to share some knowledge with you. And I'm going to reach out just to see if he can make it one day, just to explain something like this, how it happens. So I just want to let you know about where the health channel is. It's still on. I don't intend to shut it down. It's still on. And if ever it comes to that, I will give you a heads up. Karakulak, cereal. Your cereal is a problematic also. There are no nutritional values in cereal. So let me share some picture with you, or pictures rather. You all remember I showed you last time the garden, right? When I was just preparing everything, which was about a month ago. All right, I'm gonna show you where it is right now. You can tell I'm not a producer, so the pictures do not look good, but it's all right. So let me share screen here with you. Garden. Okay. Let me make this bigger because it looks small. That's one of the chicken. That's Layla. All right, let me see the picture. I just want to show you, because last time it was nothing but just dirt, and the seeds, of course, were there, but now it's getting up there, and I'm gonna explain which one is which. So the little thing. Well, I know you can't see the cursor where I'm pointing out. Those are potatoes coming up. So, and this is Layla, and this is carrot. So. Those are the potatoes, but I'm gonna go one by one to show you. So the first row right here, those are green beans. Okay. The second one is squash. Okay. Third one is radish. So 1, 2, 3. That's 3 radish right there, and the last one is potatoes. So those are the ones that I'm not now growing in the garden, because the season we're getting into, it starts already get very, very hot here. So I wanted to. So we're doing the green beans. Those are just images to show you guys. Doing green beans, or doing squash. I'm doing radish. And the last one is potatoes. So we tried the sweet potatoes last time, didn't work out. So that's the one. That's the one I'm planning on doing. So, yeah, those are. I also have another picture. I think I don't know if I send it or not. Let me see if it is there. Maybe it didn't go through. And I'll show you what I. No, it's not there. It didn't come through. So I cooked some meat certain ways, and I wanted just to share it with you, but it's not there. Anyway, next time I'll do that one. So, all right, let me see. And again, all the idea of, because I want to make sure I know what I'm consuming. You know, the market out there, they ain't gonna tell you because it's about profit. So they're not gonna buy high quality stuff. No, it's commercial. And for us here in the U.S., is if the food industry is in the pockets of the government, is in the pockets of the food industry. In other words, food industry influence decisions of the government policies regarding food and all that. So if you only know when you go to a supermarket, okay, how it is layout, the layout of a supermarket, it's not random. Everything outside, from the outsides, when you are inside the store, all the outside aisles, they're all junk food. And you keep going in until you get into the center. That's where the good food is. But by the time you get to the center, your cart is already full. I mean, go to the aisle of, for example, where they have chips, and see how many kind of chips, which all of them are high in sodium. Now, that doesn't mean there are not good chips out there. They are. If they are cooked in, for example, avocado oil versus vegetable oil. And this is why health is very important. What you consume, the coffee you guys drink outside, you be careful with that. Why? the amount of mold that exists in the coffee. Reputable coffee will cost, including Starbucks. Starbucks, there's mold in that coffee. So, no. Unless you know where to go to a farm or something where they had to grow their own coffee and you get the organic one, of course it tastes different. But again, also what you add with your coffee, with all the sugar and certain creamer or whatever, all that stuff. Even if you do creamer, you have to use the good quality cream into. So that's my point, guys. It just it's so much processed food here. So much. That's I mean, you think about it. Society like ours, saying we are this wealthy and we couldn't find the cure to cancer, or we choose not to find the cure to cancer. We couldn't eradicate, for example, the this Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all that. It's all by design. It's all by design. And pharmaceuticals have deep pockets. They have lobbyists. You know also what happened with COVID, right? So and this is where they just be aware. Lack of awareness is what causes a lot of people do not know. And once the body deteriorates, it'll start with the mental. Your alertness goes down. It starts with the mood. You start to be moody the entire day. There is no drive. There is no energy. There is nothing. And that's where people fall into depression and all that. This is the food they consume. So. Jim Passarotary, you wrote, Dr. O, I can help it, but my car drives right into the Wendy drive-through automatically right after work. I understand. I mean, I'll tell you something. I'll share something with you, especially for those who live in the U.S. And correct me if I'm wrong. When you drive in your town, whatever you are, and you see Chick-fil-A, what do you notice? It is always packed, right? Why is this? It's because there is a specific chemicals. I wish I remembered the name. It's one of those that they use when they cook that chicken that render you addicted to that. It's like sugar. So if you know what they put in that chemicals, that is, your body becomes addicted to it. So to me, Jim, if I am to say, try to fight that urge of driving to Wendy's. So instead, just that ain't gonna happen overnight. These changes I'm talking about, whatever, guys, ain't gonna happen overnight. It's discipline. It takes time. But if you psych your mind, put your mind on the right path for that, you can do it. Because your health is your best asset. That's the way I see it. Okay, let me see another question. All right, let me see who is here. Muslim revert. Oh, Boone, you leave in. Okay, family time. You go. Family matters. Family matters. Good to see you, Boone. I'm scrolling all the way down here to see Muslim River. Texas produces a lot of gas. Yes, we do. Dr. O, do you recommend the man getting a younger partner, say 10 or 15 years? Well, age won't matter as long as you get along with the person and you care for the person. Why would age matter? So I don't see any issue with that. What would be the issue? Yeah, if they are a decent person, happens to be younger than you or older than you, so what? Age is just a number we put it on ourselves. It's the mental state. It's the mental state. If you stay in that condition, that's what matters. If you stay physically fit, that you are able to move around. I mean, you look at now here. I mean, I see people in their mid-30s. They look like they are late 40s, almost 50. let alone the chronic diseases they're dealing with. Heck, even kids now being born and after a year or two run to issues like cancer, for example, leukemia, diseases that we used not to hear about. So, so yeah, why not? If you care for that person, I say go for it. Assuming the feeling is mutual, so it goes both ways. So, control demolition. Good to see you as always. You too, Doctor O. Sometimes you try camel milk. You met? Is that what you meant? Camel milk? And if it is, yes, I had it before when I was in Saudi Arabia. When I used to travel back then, and I remember this guy was part of the government, whatever, but he owned the farm, and me and my colleagues were invited for dinner. But he sent one of his people and said, "Hey, go get some milk from the camel there," and I drank it. My colleagues, of course, got nervous, and I say, "Guys, this is better for you than the processed milk at home, which, by the way, milk ain't good for you anyway. So, let alone the one that is processed, but something like that." So I drank it, and I was fine, and it's good. That's usually how I did have it before, and I liked it. So, Army with Harmony question: do you normally start from seeds? Yes, I do. So I buy organic seeds, and I buy them myself. I don't just order that through Amazon. No. I know places here in town where I go, and I'll get the organic ones myself. And Cheesecake, good to see you. Dr. O, do you have solar panels in your garden? No, I don't. You mean just for the light? Yeah, if the light just to put on, but solar panels for the house? No, I don't do that, and I won't count on that. I know the government here is saying we will give you incentives if you install. No, because that means you will be at the mercy of the government. The same like this, the digital currency, whatever, that the government have control. I don't trust that. I do have 2 panels, by the way. I do have a backup charge battery just in case. But as far as the panels, no, I won't put that in. So, no. Controlled demolition. I made a Spanish omelette today. Good for you. Did you put parsley, onions, cumin, garlic? So I wonder how you make that one, man. All right, let me scroll down here to see. Muslim revert. Starbucks is for lazy workers who wake up late. Yeah. Lori said, I'm a tea drinker with no sugar. Good for you. Well, I wonder what type of tea do you drink? Is it a black tea or green tea? Now, tea happens to be good for you. I don't drink it much. I usually do it in the winter. That's about it. That's the only thing. And other than that, throughout the year, I don't do it. I do coffee, but 1 cup a day, and I grind my own, and I buy the beans myself. So, in other words, organic ones. And yeah, no sugar. No sugar. Stay away from sugar, guys. Train your body. Train your body to, I won't say give it up all at once. You can't do that because you will shock the body. But just to train. I'll tell you, for example, do I eat ice cream? Yes, I do. Do I buy good quality ice cream? Of course. Yes, it's pricely, whatever. But how often do I do that? Sometimes I used to go literally about 4, 5, 6 months before I have ice cream. And nowadays, if I do it on a weekend only. That's it. This way you go throughout the week eating your normal food. Then you say to yourself, weekend, I'm going to treat myself to something like that. So because you can't just shock the body with, it doesn't work that way. You have to go gradually. Muslim revert. Honey is a good substitute as long as the raw honey, that will be good to add to that. So that is So who is somebody wrote here? Sabah al khair. Good morning to you. مساء الخير. Good afternoon, doctor. أشاهدك من السعودية. I'm watching you from Saudi Arabia. Well, good to have you. I enjoyed being in your country. I mean, wonderful people. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to share a story with you guys, if you allow me. So I remember one day when I was there, I used to spend about a month or month and a half, whatever. And one evening, I went to the grocery store because I used to drive. I was able to, you speak the language, and there's no issue there whatsoever. Only to realize when I went to the grocery store, bought my stuff, and I came to pay, and I didn't have my wallet on me. The manager of the store, who happens to be an Egyptian, was working there. Or he said, "Mister, just go and bring money later." And I said, "Are you okay with that?" He said, "Yeah." And I was floored because the amount of trust he trusted me that he knew that I was a foreigner, an American, the least, because I was speaking English to him. I do speak Arabic once in a while, but and to me, I was like, wow, so nice to see there are still good people out there in this world. So I drove back to my quarter inside near the embassy, went into my quarter, get my wallet, drove back, and paid him before midnight because he had to do the accounting. And I said, I shall never forget this, and I will pay it forward. And it is. So just the times in Saudi Arabia, it was very, very nice to visit and deal with people there. Okay, let me see another question. Li Tian Hui, home-baked bread frozen to reduce insulin spikes. You are spot on. Most of my bread, which is seed base, is in a freezer. I have two freezers inside outside the house in the garage, and the two freezers where I keep some bread and some other stuff. And if I need, before I eat, one piece of bread in a day, that's all I eat, one piece. I'll take it from the freezer inside because of the insulin. So you are absolutely correct. I used to bake stuff here at home. I stopped. It's because the flour, it was just the original, and I kind of decided to, because I wanted to cut down on the carbohydrates intake. And that started a few years ago. So you're absolutely correct. And thank you for sharing that. Farah Haidar, good to see you from the UK. Good to have you here. Yeah, consumption, guys, it's where, and you all know what's going on with governments trying to control. I mean, I see it right here in my country here, with what the evil Bill Gates is trying to do, the landowner of the largest farms in the country. Why the heck would you want to own all those farms for? And what a lot of people do not know in the US is that McDonald's French fries, where do you think that potato is coming from? It's coming from Bill Gates' farms. Well, we all know how evil Bill Gates is. And what will he put into that? When he was in India, that's why he was kicked out of India. When he was in Africa, was kicked out of Africa. All that injections was doing, paralyzing kids or having kids being born deformed with deformities. This is where sometimes you realize it's not about being wealthy, it's about how evil one can get. And that it's inherently in. Some people, whether rich or not, they can be evil because it's inherited. So if it were up to me one day how to deal with that guy, I won't say it here, but you all know. Okay, Jan Hakor, question. Greeting, Doc. I recall you mentioning that you used to be a runner. What sort of distances did you often cover? I covered between 3,000 and 5,000 meters. That was my specialty. I remember when I started, I was supposed to get a scholarship in a college. Actually, the same college Scott Ritter was in, Franklin Marshall College. That's why when I had the interview with him in the other channel, I said, you probably will be surprised to know that we share something in common. You were at Franklin Marshall College, so I was about to get a scholarship. Things didn't work out with the coach. I didn't like it. And I kind of told the coach straightforward, I don't deal with hypocrisy. So don't ever call me and you can keep your scholarship. So, but anyway, one day he puts me for 800 meters. I was second to last. I'm not a fast runner, but I used to go for the distance long. When I did 5,000 meters, I came second. And at that time, I wasn't even a student at the college, which was illegal for him to allow me to run. Because by the time I got the second place, they were qualified for NCAA, which is the national championships and all that stuff, for national collegiate championship of sort. And that's how he became a head coach. So the bottom line to it is he used me for a race. And that's what angered me. And I told him, we're done. Because you tell me and I'll make my own decision whether I want to run. But to use me like that, I said, that's hypocrisy and I don't want to deal with you anymore. So, but I used to run 5,000 meters, 3,000, 5,000. Because I am tall, taller people tends to, I read about the physiology of the muscles. It's like a diesel motor. A diesel motor doesn't warm quickly. You have to drive for a while. Then once it warms up, it performs. That's how I felt about it. So that's what I used to do. Thank you for the question. Army with Harmony. I am correct in thinking you have roots in. Yeah, those are the seeds. Are you talking about the seed stuff, right? No, those are the seeds that I planted. Yeah, you have to have those. I don't buy, for example, I buy the seeds. Now, I am trying now with onions. When I get a whole onion, I cut the bottom of the onion where the roots are, and I go plant them and see how it's going to perform. And I buy the organic one just to see. If not, I usually use the seeds because that's always the best way to do that. Okay, question. What about Earl Grey tea? I'm not familiar with that one. I'm not familiar with it. So I do know one thing. For me, I prefer green tea over black tea. I know in Britain they use a lot of black tea. I personally I don't like it. So when I used to travel to Middle East, I always ask them to make me tea with mint, pure mint, not powder, it's the leaves. And mint are good for you. They are very soothing for your tummy and helps with the digestive system. How is the Mustang running? It is moving forward. I just finally got the state approval because it was an issue with it. They said, well, you can't pass the inspection, whatever. So finally it is. But I still have to do a few modifications. I have to buy a seat. I have to replace the seat, the driver's seat. It's getting along. And once it's completed, I intend to snap some pictures and share them with you guys. But it was a learning process, I tell you. I learned how to change, for example, the cold air intake. I learned how to change the actuator, the ones that controls air conditioning stuff. Change the turn signal. My turn signal used not to cancel when you go right. So I took the whole steering wheel and the dashboard there and replaced the stuff. So you learn a little bit. Get a fob key, automatic program the keys for the car, because Mustang, it's an older model. And the whole reason I bought it, it's my neighbor, a wonderful neighbor, by the way. It's I couldn't ask for better. And the vehicle belonged to his late daughters. So I decided to buy it to keep the memory alive for him. Even I'm his neighbor and I bought it, whatever. But so, and even one day I might give him the key and say, hey, take the car and go for a ride. So it's coming along. It's coming along. Now, I've been asked whether I'm going to give this to my son or not. I said, I don't know. I don't know because I already gave him my other car. So, to me, you got to work for things. You have to earn things. So, and he's not asking for it. And he doesn't even know. So, I didn't decide anything yet. Patrick, what do you think of microplastic that is now everywhere? You are spot on. That is one of the reasons why I don't drink tap water. I won't touch it. Yeah, I won't touch it. I know you have to drink water. You won't survive in about 3 days, if I'm not mistaken. But if you train this, you'll be fine. But yeah, you're right. It's a big problem. Very serious problem, at least for us here in the US. And a lot of people are not even aware. The government ain't disclosing the truth about what the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, not disclosing to the people. I mean, you all remember what happened to those who live up north in the US near Michigan. Flint, Michigan, you all remember, right? With the water there. So the pipelines are so old. Our infrastructure is degrading. And this is why I never get it as to the waste of tax dollars. What a shame. I have no problem paying taxes if I know we get something in return. But I do have a problem when the government goes and wastes our tax dollars. And most Americans are not paying close attention. This is why you're seeing these chronic diseases on the rise. You know, people in their 40s are dealing with Alzheimer's. People in their 40s dealing with Parkinson's. How the heck? Yeah, it's big problem. The college I used to teach at, the city where it was, and that was the first thing I had to check on, and I found out what was going on with our water. Why? Because before I accepted the job there, I drove one day, and I drove at night. I went over there just to walk around. That's usually how I do it for security reasons. I like to know my environments and so forth. And what I noticed was I was seeing a lot of sick cats and dogs, and people look so. I go to store, for example, Walmart, whatever, and people look very lethargic, and I'm like, what? Something is off. It can be. So I digged enough, reached out to some people I know, only to find out that one of the major telecommunication companies, what's they call them? The company called telecommunication. Yeah. Anyway, that's the what. Anyway, I was dealing with communication. They have a plant in that, and they were dumping the water in the river inside the city. And I was like, what? Yeah, nobody was taking care of that. Even though I accepted the job, I ended up taking my own bottles of water with me, and we not touch the water from the faucet, whatever. So yeah, it is a big problem, and I hope you be aware of what you're drinking, and even if you have to sort of broil water and let it sit later on and drink it, it'll be better for you. Jim, oh, you wrote, thank you, Dr. O, you are so genuine and kind, one of its nicest. You're most welcome. There are other people out there. Just to me, the way I look at it, and I'll say it, the way I look at it is, what can you do for humanity? How can you contribute? That's the way I'm not a millionaire. I am not this, whatever. I do have knowledge right here, and I wanted to share it. This is why speaking of that, this is why I'm going to share something with you quickly, if you allow me. One of our viewers put down, it's Emerson Bangora 4382. He wrote, and I quote, Dr. O, I must confess and appreciate you for your work. I was struggling to choose a career, but the moment I started watching your show, I was able to navigate my studies towards geopolitics and history. And now I am confident that I am on the right track. Thank you so much for your deep insights on issues of global politics and the changing dynamics happening right in front of our eyes. Trust me, I have learned a lot throughout this show. End of quote. It's nice to, I got so happy when I read it. You know why? Because you say to yourself, you're doing something that someone else will benefit from. I hope this individual will reach out, and I'll be happy to help with guidance, whatever. So, but it is, you become to ask yourself as I grow older. I'm not in my 20s. So you start to ask, what are you doing for humanity? What are you contributing? What is life is all about? You start to ask these questions that matter. Because if you don't ask these questions, you are avoiding finding out the truth from within you. And a lot of people, mark my word on this, a lot of people are hiding from that from within themselves. That's why they stay busy throughout the day, because they don't want to face themselves, because they don't want to find out. They don't want to hear. Listen to your inner voice and you'll find out. It's important. You might not like it. So what? But at least it'll open up your mind. It'll open up the path for you to start to see things differently. And for me personally, one of the ways, did I ever think about doing this 5 years, 6 years, 10 years ago? No, I wasn't even into it. Now you feel it becomes part of what you do in life, part of your mission per se. And I look at it as a mission. That's why I'm hoping to grow this channel a little bit bigger, because you reach wider audience for the sake of raising awareness. That is what's important about. Yeah, and how that happens without your help, guys, ain't gonna happen. Like we say, you can't clap with one hand, can you? You won't hear it loud. Versus, so you're most welcome. You are most welcome. So, speaking of freezing, while I'm thinking about it, I know somebody last time asked me, I think about how often do I take shower or whatever. Well, I take shower every day, of course, but the difference is I don't take hot showers. I don't touch hot water. I haven't touched hot water in about literally 8 to 10 years. Winter or not. It got below freezing here last winter. And I went and took a cold shower. As a matter of fact, I sit in cold water after I work out. That's where I sit. Cold is good for you. So I don't touch hot water anymore. Lia Chang, thanks so much, Dr. O, for your feedback. The frozen bread seems to be controversial, so great to have your advice. Yeah, I heard about it's controversial, but I am my trusted sources. My significant other is a certified nutritionist. So she knows the ins and outs. That's the first thing she tell me. Go ahead, go put this in the freezer. Yeah, and I noticed the big difference. I eat that slice of bread after it's being frozen, and I put it in a special toaster and all that. You don't feel the weight of. But again, I only eat one piece of bread. Actually, two. One I eat it with my eggs and all that, and one I eat it with the organic peanut butter. So. Okay, question. Do all thanks with love. I always like your screen name. I always enjoy it. Quantum. Do you have any experience with or knowledge of quantum biology, specifically deuterium depletion? Not at all. Not at all. So, Dr. Stewart, this is his background, because he was also a chemist by training. Yeah, that will be his background, and he can spell this out. So, to me, I do not know. Where's the other one here? Let me see. Timeline Dunkley, good to see you as always. Are you able to grow bananas in your garden? No. Have seeds in it. Or what about apples? No. I buy apples, organic apples, but bananas, I don't eat a lot of bananas. And by the way, bananas, guys, do not eat bananas that are so yellow. Because remember, they do have fructose, there's sugar in. So When you get a banana, try to buy, and don't buy 4 or 5 because they'll go bad if you don't eat them. I always buy 2 max. That's it. Buy the one that is greenish, on the greenish side, less sugar on it. Apple, when you eat apple, just add either a piece of cheese, a walnut, or peanut butter, because the fat will cancel the sugar. So that's the one I use. And the last time I had a banana was about 2.5 weeks ago. So one, and that's it. Francis Tango, Doc, if you want to eat healthy, what should you look at and what should you be careful about? Well, it depends again. It depends again, first of all, how many meals you eat a day. So I'll ask you, Francis, how many meals do you eat a day? I do too. That's about it. Sometimes, especially when I do a show for you guys during the week, after that, I'll take a break, and about 2 o'clock or 2:30 before I'll get on doing the research for the next topic for you and all that, I'll have snack. And why do I have snack? I have yogurt with a full grade milk. I put raspberry in it. I put walnut in it. I put pieces of apple, and I put a little bit of peanut butter and raw honey. And remember, yeah, there are a lot, but I put just small amounts. And that's my snack if I do it. Otherwise, I'll eat my the first meal at about 10 o'clock, and my dinner is about 18:30. That's it. The body doesn't need a lot of food. So what you need to do is you need, first of all, to figure out if you consume a lot of carbohydrates. And by the way, guys, I am not a certified nutritionist, whatever. So I want to put this on the record. My significant others is, but I am, because of what I learned. So I'm sharing it with you. Start cut down on carbohydrates. That's one. Start cut down on sugar. That's 2. And try to start the portions of what you eat, downsize that if you put a lot on your plate. I know for us in the US, we fill up the plate, and it's no, not a good idea. Because if you look at history, once again, this is where history comes in. The size of the plate for the last 50 years has grown. Go back to the 30s, the size of a dish wasn't the same way today. So that's one. And second, you're going to have to start to understand the ingredients in food. So, because you need to figure out where your deficiencies are. If you have, for example, too much sodium and low vitamin B6, well, you know there's a problem there. So first of all, if you have high sodium, that means you are snacking too much on chips, for example. You're eating too much salt, whatever. You have to cut down on that one. If you have deficiency in vitamin B6, you're going to have to look about the items or the veggies or fruit, whatever that has vitamin C6 in it. But this is where vitamins comes in. And I am not talking about vitamins from over the counter. Those are waste of money. Stay away from that stuff. So you go to Walmart or Targets, whatever, buy that. No, you have to go through some individuals who are certified for these vitamins, and that's how you balance. And it's not an additional to you. Those are just it's not it's just a complementary. Your health-wise depends on what you consume. That's where the primary is going to be. Vitamins, just an additional. The reason you see me the way you see me is because when I eat, after I'm eating, at about 30 minutes or so later, I'll take some specific vitamins that I have. But this, again, it's not something you buy in the street. So I hope this helped. Africa Unite. You are right. You are right. GMOs are the problem now. There has been. This is why Europe does not import certain food from the US. And for those who've been in Europe, and if you are an American, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you ever did this, have you noticed a difference if you go to Europe and eat ice cream in Europe, or drink milk, or eat bread? You don't feel any issues. versus if you eat them here. So why? Because no GMOs are allowed in Europe. That's why they don't import certain things, and they don't allow certain. Do you guys know that a cereal that is produced here in the US, which is the worst quality and the most harmful item, it's produced right here in the US, but the one we sent to Canada doesn't have this GMO stuff in it. Yeah, that's what the cereal companies are doing. So that's why you have to be you have to educate yourself about this. And again, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. So, okay, question. Army with Harmony, do you think the US market will crash before the elections? I don't know. All I know is that I listened to, what's his name? Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan, warning about the US dollar. That's to me, when somebody like that talks, I can tell what might lie ahead, but I've already been taking precautions to this. And again, my advice to you, and again, I am not a financial advisor. It's just my common sense. If you have money stuck in the bank, go get it out. Leave just a little bit there. So, they want black. So, all right, let me see another question. Did you ever compete in Eugene, Oregon? No. I think I've only been in Oregon once. On my way somewhere. Yeah, no, I never competed there. So, Lia Chang Wei, how does your military self-defense training compare to Shaolin? No, it's different. No, there's, I can't compare it. Yeah, so yeah, we call it self-defense. It's different. It's very different. This one here is meant for the when you do special ops and all that stuff, you have to be trained into self-defense and so forth. Shaolin is completely different, because Shaolin ain't about, and this is why I think a lot of people don't get about martial arts. Martial art isn't about fighting. Martial art is about discipline. You have to be disciplined. Even when you are in a position to defeat someone, you walk away. That's the, yeah, to me, there's no comparison there. They're trying to incorporate into some self-defense training in the military here, but they're incorporating the basics. They're not going to go with the advanced stuff, no, because they don't want soldiers at that level anyway. So, and nowadays, the young generation, they can't even fight. So, yeah, Core, thanks for sharing your story, Doc. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Okay, let me see. I'll do one more question, guys, and I'm going to sign off here because I got to go finish up. I pull a muscle on my shoulder, so I'm dealing with it with ice and stuff, but I still have to do some more work that needs to be done around the house. Then chill out for today and tomorrow. Then we pick it up on Monday, as to like we always do. Matt, Becky, Doc, do you ride a bike? Motorcycle? No. I used to have a road bike, and I bought it in Paris. I still have it. I wish I showed a picture. I don't know if I have a picture of it or not. I'll do it next time. But and I don't ride anymore. I used to do a lot, but I dropped a lot of weight because cycling, I used to go for 2-3 hours nonstop, and it dropped weight too much. And plus, back then I was younger. Now I don't do it anymore. No, motorcycles, no, I don't. They're very, very dangerous. Yeah, I can be comfortable, whatever, but no, I don't. As far as which type, all I know is Harley Davidson, Kawasaki. I heard of this, but those are sporty ones. Yeah, those are the only ones. These are the only ones I do. So. Oh, Francis Tango. My sister-in-law tells me that you have good books. She said that not everyone can get them from the publisher. Yeah. Yeah, because what I found out, the reason why they put in them at 130, that's why I want to put them on. I put the electronic version on Buy Me Coffee. I need to work out with them, to work it out with them as far as that. The reason they charge in that 130 because they're selling them to the university. They are making money on them. So literally they are. They did give me, because truth matters. When I agreed to for them to publish, they gave me about $850 as an advance. That's usually the norm, but it's nothing in comparison to. But again, I am not a politician's one known, whatever, where those people get advance of $500,000, whatever. And so yeah, that's why they have them expensive at that. And I am trying, now that I have the right to my books, I want to find a way how to have them on a platform where I can sell them to all of you guys for a fraction of the price, just to cover the cost for the, because no platform, even Amazon, they take most of them. You know how much they pay people? I found out no more than 5%, if that. So you sell things on Amazon controls everything. So that is, and I want you guys to have those copies down the road. So it's just maybe something to remember me with when I'm gone. So, okay, guys, I am going to sign off here. And Francis Tango, when are you going to talk about UFOs? And we are not crazy. They're real, boy. I know it's not topic that is favorable by many. It's because remember one thing about us humans. We only believe in what we can see and we can touch. The unseen remains a mystery for us. This is one of the problems that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can figure something out regarding that. JD, what cayenne pepper to control high blood pressure? I've heard about this, but to my knowledge, is garlic is what control high blood pressure. If you chop up garlic, let it sit for about a minute or two, then eat it. Because alamsine, alamsine, the chemical inside is that what lower blood pressure. That's to my knowledge. So, okay, guys, I can't eat too much bananas. Francis Tango, you put I have diabetes. I can. What type? Type 1 or type 2? So and diabetes, by the way, is reversible with food, not medication. This is what the problem here in the US or Canada or the Western world. It's reversible with food. I am aware of cases of people that they reversed that. But you have to be disciplined about what you consume. And all it is, the two main culprits, sugar and carbohydrates. If you can take care of that, you can reverse it. I know the pharmaceutical pushing for the medication for that, but no. And so that is where the issue is. So, okay, guys, I am going to sign off here, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Calderon, is it Calderon? Where France now have the problem with the indigenous people. So I'm looking into that. I might do a topic for you on it. I'll also be on a lookout for some recorded videos, and I'll give you a heads up. Next week, I will be having my conversation with Dr. Yan Liang. I look forward to that conversation. She is a bright lady. She is a bright lady, and so I'm gonna do that. Army with Harmony. Try a cold shower on shoulder. I did this morning, and I put ice. I have bottles of ice inside the freezer. I had them on my shoulder earlier before I came on the show. I just didn't want to show up with that here. So, all right, guys. I wish you a good afternoon, a good day, good evening, whatever part of the world you are in, and enjoy your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next week. As always, remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.